All right, everybody. I am here today with my investor partner, Bill, and we're going to kind of discuss everything from what's currently going on in the real estate market to what kind of deals we look for, and really really just kind of talk about Bill and Marie and their business today as well. So, hey, Bill, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then how you and Marie decided to kind of get started with Proportunities.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Keegan. Thanks for this opportunity. We're up here in Sedalia, 12 miles into the mountains at South Spork Ranch, and my wife Marie and I found this beautiful house about a year ago because we got into investing.
Okay.
And I formerly was a 25-year broadcast TV producer, and it was a great career. Flew all over, met a lot of great people, the celebrity actors and all that. A lot of fun. But we got into this because we had inherited a house 10 years ago from my now late parents, obviously. And it was a beautiful house in Centennial, and we lived there, took it over, but it was outdated, like most houses that are inherited are. And we figured, well, we'll fix it up and live there.
Okay.
But we knew nothing about how to deal with contractors or renovations. And so we went to a class that we saw on TV and thought, well, it's free. Maybe we can pick up a few pointers, like how to deal with contractors and how to secure money and whatnot. And it was only a 2-hour class. And they said, well, come to the weekend class. We'll tell you a lot more. So we were already hooked. And we thought, great. The more, the better. Hey, it's a couple $100. We'll make that back in the education. So we went to the 2-day or 3-day seminar, whatever it was. And by, I think, the second day, we realized what a powerful opportunity investing in real estate is. And that is, we buy houses and wholesale them, or fix and flip them, or buy and hold them, which are rentals.
Okay.
So we did that, and 3 years ago, probably 3.5 years ago, actually, that's where we are today.
Wow. So you've been doing this for 3 years now, and how's the journey been so far? Has it been I'm sure it's been quite a lot of fun, because I know you and I have written several offers, and if you've done several deals on your own as well. So tell us about some of those deals and some of those experiences.
You've brought in some terrific candidates, but as you well know, in this market in Denver Metro, it's extremely tight.
Right.
It's a tough buyer's market. So while we've made a lot of competitive offers, it really comes down to seller motivation. So what I'm getting at is we haven't done a lot of offers with or without you in this market because it is so tight.
Right.
So if we can identify motivation in this market, we'll be doing a lot better. A lot of other markets, it's not as strong for the buyers for the sellers, that is. And it's a lot more, 50-50 give and take. But you and I are in the business with investing to help people get out of tough situations. So
Absolutely.
It's just down to seller motivation is what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And, kind of based on some of those things that you have done with, right here in my background is actually, I think, a kitchen you remodeled, right? Or part of one of your flips?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I wish I could claim it myself, but Marie, my wife, is in the renovation side of the business. So that's her handiwork back behind you of actually the house we inherited. And I wish I had a before picture, but it was a little galley kitchen, and we blew out the wall over your, I guess would be your left shoulder. Yeah, the other one. Yeah, we blew out the wall. We added 200 square feet and turned the galley into just one big square open kitchen.
Yeah, it's incredibly beautiful, and it really kind of just fits in today's style of kitchens, and it's modern. It feels homey. You guys have done amazing work. So this was a home that you said you had inherited in Centennial, right?
Yes, and that was actually our fourth deal. We had done 3 or 4 projects before we finally circled back around to our own house, of which the whole reason we got the business. So yeah, we made a good bundle of money out of that. I'll be honest, with those kind of stylings and fixtures, and it paid for the extraordinarily expensive class that we took on how to do this. So. Okay.
So, is there kind of a specific home build that you like to kind of look for? Mid-centuries, townhomes, bungalows. Like, do you have like a certain kind of style you like to gravitate more towards, more so than others?
Well, yes, and again, in this market, we like to keep our options open,
Uh-huh.
because we can't be beggars can't be choosers,
Yeah,
and
that's very true.
but we look at 1955 or later, so mid-century moderns would be terrific. We haven't had one yet, but 1955 or later. We like the larger homes, 2,400 square feet to 5,000 square feet. That's the largest we've done. Up to year 2005, I think we can still work with,
Uh-huh.
age-wise, and we have. And let's see what else. Our purchase power, we buy with cash, of course, is $750,000. Now,
Okay.
I've almost lost a couple friends on Facebook because it makes it sound like I'm a millionaire. I'm not. I use other people's money. Now, and a lot of investors do that so we can do more than one deal at once. I use very
Gotcha.
little.
So it creates leverage.
Thank you. Exactly. So that you and
Okay.
I can continue to keep shopping while we have a rehab going.
Absolutely. Okay. So it really just kind of helps you create leverage, and you're not just necessarily tied just to that one particular property that you're already working on. You're able to kind of go out and look at other future, deals that you may want to do.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Gotcha. So Bill, obviously with this whole virus, we all have to wear a mask, so things have kind of changed, how we do business. But with that kind of being said, what do you see kind of changing over these next few months in our local market here? In your
That is a
perspective.
terrific question, and I often equate it to Schrodinger's cat. I don't know if you're familiar with that, and a lot of your
I'm
listeners
not.
probably. Well, it's an old experiment where if a cat's in the box, you don't know whether it's alive or dead.
Right.
It's like he put it in an ionic nuclear box, and so you don't really know if it's live or dead until it comes out of the box. And the point is, I think we, in this situation with the virus, we're the ones in the box. The economy is in the box. We don't know if we're alive and dead until we come out of this thing. And so there's a lot of uncertainty. And my prediction is that as far as real estate investing, and the real estate market as a whole, is that when it started in March, and a lot of counties and bankers are different, but it started in March. So that means there's another 2 months at least until pre-foreclosures are issued from the banks.
Right.
And so that
Okay.
equates to June and July. We'll have a really good feel for how this goes, especially July, because not every banker is amenable as my banker, Wells Fargo, for the condo that I owe. They're fine. But a lot of them aren't. And so they're going to start issuing as many foreclosures as they can get away with. Now, I won't jump ahead to, but then there's the eviction process of a foreclosure, which is 6 months typically after filing. I don't know how that's going to go down because it'll be virus related. So there's some
Right.
messes. But the market, unfortunately, I think is going to slow. But the buyers on the market, and then there'll be one quarter fewer buyers, by the way, in my estimation from what I've read. But there'll be stronger buyers. They'll have
Yeah.
20% down in many cases. Their credit scores will be huge. So that'll keep the market moving, and that end of it. So if investors like us can be prepared and do the good work we have, there's always a demand for nice rehabs like what's behind you. Folks, that's not going to stay on the market for a long time. That one that you're sitting in right now, I think was on the market for 5 days before it went under contract. And that's typical
Wow.
track record.
That's incredible. And I think you're right. I think as we kind of do move forward, as we get deeper into this, I think demand will still be there, but you're gonna have stronger buyers, less buyers, but stronger buyers. The demand will still be there. Homes will still move and sell, whether it's a fix or flip or whatever. Things are still gonna move. But as we can see now, even inventory is starting to kind of level off a little bit than what we saw previously. But doesn't mean things are, it's not a gloomy day by any means. It's just the different way of it's just a different market. That's all.
Exactly. And according to Redfin, the research I've done, there are 4 levels of areas that are hurting, and level 1 being the worst. Denver Metro is level 4, so we're not doing too bad. I mean,
No.
we're looking at $20,000 drops here and there in below median price ranges. we're doing okay.
Yep. I would think so, and even just from just talking to other people, around in our market, it sounds like we do kind of have one of the stronger markets when you look at the country as a whole. So, that's kind of, encouraging for everyone, really.
Mhm. I agree.
So, kind of with all the kind of being said with, this whole virus and stuff, are you doing anything, different, um, standpoint than you were before all this?
Yes, I have to admit, and as you well know, we did take a little bit of a breather because the virus affected us in such a way. We have an active listing right now, and it froze solid. So
Right.
takes an exception to our days on market record because that sucker's going on 62 days as of today. But to more specifically answer your question, as it loosens up, when I get more into meeting with sellers who anticipate problems and want to liquidate like a second home to keep their business alive,
Right.
I need to be asking more important questions. You and I both, to
Yeah.
find that seller motivation. And most people are transparent. Luckily, some aren't. So we got to dig a little deeper to get to the nerve. And one key question I'm starting to ask is, Mr. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what is the amount you need to walk away with? Because typically they owe a mortgage. Most of us
Hmm.
do. So forget the mortgage thing. How much cash do you need in the bank on the day we close? And when you get to that, you get to a root of a lot of questions. And there used to
Hmm.
be an old way I could figure that out. I have a little secret way of figuring that out, and I'm usually right. If they owe $100,000 and their property's $200,000, then no, well, that's a bad example. If it's $300,000 and they owe 100, I know that their sweet spot is usually at least six figures, okay, $100,000, or rounded up to maybe 150. Okay, so you got the ballpark of that walk away cash, 100,000, 150. If you're following me, okay, on that one.
Yeah.
But in this case, it may be $50,000. They need to simply save their business or keep their employees going. Doesn't mean we're going to take advantage of that. It's just we need to find that sweet spot. What do they need? Because
Right.
we are home liquidators.
Absolutely. So you got to find that sweet spot so that way, exactly, you want to try to create a win-win situation. You want to be able to get them what they want and what they need to, pay off their mortgage or pay their employees, for their business they have, or whatever it could be. It could be a number of things, right? So it's really trying to get down into what are they really looking for and what do they need to continue to do what they want to do. And it also has got to fit what you want to do with that particular property and whatnot. But you're right. I think it comes down to creating a win-win situation for all parties, and this is what that's about.
Right, exactly. And to better prepare ourselves to meet that win-win expectation, we need to be in communication with our hard money lenders because, like I said,
Hmm.
most of us use other people's money. So whether that be a private money lender or a hard money lender, which is to your listeners, a bank basically, but with higher interest rates, specifically for investment.
Okay.
We got to make that phone call to that relationship and say, hey, Jason, are you still going strong on your terms? Are you still lending at 70% or 75%? Are you still charging only a point or 2 points? Make sure
Okay.
that you're clear on that because a lot of us have these proof of fund letters that we liberally give to sellers that are kind of our backing. Make sure that backing is valid before you accidentally submit one of those suckers.
Right. You don't want to put yourself into a bad situation. Absolutely. So, Bill, if there is someone out there right now that is looking to, liquidate or just sell their home for whatever reason, what are you able to do a little differently than say myself just as a realtor? What would make it maybe more beneficial for someone to use you rather than myself, for instance?
Well, it comes down to a simple aspect that I can buy their property. You can't.
That's
No,
true.
no offense. You can buy it. You know enough to buy it. No, but you're there in a different kind of fiduciary responsibility. So I'm there to buy it as quickly as I can at the best terms possible for them, for both of us. Like you said, win-win. So aside
Okay.
from that, just I know the root of your question though. We want to typically close quickly because if they are motivated, time is typically a factor in that, and they need their money now.
Right.
Now, our fastest I've ever closed is, I think, 2 weeks, but we can do it as soon as a week. Other investors can do it in 24 hours, 48 hours, which is really cool. I think we can do that. I just never done it. Um,
Gotcha. Okay.
we can take over a property, throw out all the junk they don't want to deal with. I've got a mover. We don't use them a lot, but I can get a discounted mover for them. We pay closing costs. There would be no commissions. But if I work with a realtor like you, like I have, well, we can still work together and work a property, depending on, we've got to keep it legal, of course, but we
Right.
can do things where, hey, I can take over, help this person. Let's just do that. And then, on the back end, when I go to list it after I fix it, say, hey, Keegan, let's come in and you take over the listing and service it on that end. So
Okay.
there's a lot of things in our offers we can add. We put in an offer last week where the guy had chickens like I do in his
Okay.
backyard in Englewood, Colorado, of all places. They had like 14 chickens, and so I put in the offer that, hey, we'll take care of the chickens. We'll put a couple of them back here. We'll sell them to our neighbors. But you never know, if you build that rapport, the little details can really help out a seller.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a relationship business, that's, if you want to just boil it down, it's as simple as it can get. It's a relationship business.
Right, and that's
And,
what you're good at, Keegan. That's why I hope your listeners, they get the word of mouth out about you, because you're really good with people. You listen, and it's evident in this back and forth. You're a great communicator, and that's so important. And you've always been good with the little details, because as you know, when it gets into the contracts and everybody's going through inspections and all those little details pop up, that's where guys like you are really, that's where you earn your money.
Thank you, Bill. I really appreciate that. You have no idea how much that means to me, especially coming from you and Marie. You guys have helped me out, so much over these last several years and working together. It's been a pleasure.
Oh,
Um,
likewise.
so, Bill, like, kind of like really would maybe make it more beneficial for a homeowner to work with you rather than an agent is that, one, you can close quicker. You can close in 7 to 10 days, 7 to 14, maybe quicker depending on the situation. And it just saves the homeowner time because they don't have to go out and go to market. They don't have to go get pictures. And, you could come in, boom, write the offer, and they get their money, what they want. And let's just call it 14 days. Well, awesome, Bill. So I know you and I are kind of continuing to look at, kind of some fun stuff. Is there anything that you're kind of really excited about to kind of see over these next several months?
Yes, I'm excited. If you keep the attitude like you and I try to in helping people, then yes, I'm excited, because unfortunately, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to need the help.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I don't know how familiar your listeners are to 2008, but the research that I did of investors who went through that time had more people than they could help. Unfortunately, they're in a position where they had to turn down calls from their marketing. They just were stretched out. And then conversely, because it was on a decline, they had to keep those and instead of renovating the homes to such the degree that we typically do, they fixed them up a little bit and turned them into rentals, since people obviously needed a place to still live.
Right.
Tried to do it affordably and therefore didn't put all that money into the rehab. So it kept the economy going in that regard. And I had two of my very best friends went through foreclosures back then. So I see that coming where, we're going to be in a position to help folks.
Hey, and that's kind of what we're here for. We're here to help people, get whatever they need and want, and see how everything kind of unfolds over the next few months, especially as we get into July and August.
I agree, and I think you and I should circle back around with the show in July and do an update. I'm curious to see how much of what we see coming is going to transpire, and that includes, by the way, Wells Fargo, for example, has locked up HELOCs. Chase Manhattan Bank is, as far as the mortgagers, they're the ones who've let out in really clamping down on any kind of loans they're going to give at all. So you can't get a HELOC, you can't get a loan, you've got an existing property, you need to liquidate it again to save your business, or even just to buy food, then yeah, July is going to be potentially alarming.
Yeah, I agree. And I would love, for us to kind of circle back here, maybe sometime in July, and we can kind of see where we're at. The market's probably going to be different, either which way in, let's see, what is that, 3 months, 2 months? So it's going to be interesting. I would love for us to kind of come back and kind of discuss that with our viewers, and it'd be kind of interesting to kind of compare the two videos and see if we're saying the same thing or if we're saying something completely different. Well, Bill, thank you so much for coming on with me today and kind of discussing, everything that's kind of going on with our current market, what you do to uh, with your fix and flips and all that great stuff. So I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for coming on with me today.
Oh no, thank you. It's always a pleasure, and look forward to talking to you real soon. We'll get another deal coming.
Absolutely, and give Marie my best, and we'll talk to you soon.